The critique in your mind is a very powerful force. Let this video explain to you how it works and how you can make use of it. Whenever we speak, anything like casual, it could be a speech. Whenever we speak, the words that we speak, our voice reaches our ears and it sort of gets recirculated back to us. And when we listen to ourselves speak, our subconscious mind catches that input and then judges us for it. This is the inner critique basically. We judging ourselves based on the inputs that we receive from ourselves. And not just hearing, it could be any of the 5 senses. It could be something that we see, it could be something that we feel. And so if our lifestyle is absolutely trash, then our eyes see it. Our skin feels it. We can taste the taste of chips and not healthy food. And so all these inputs are collected by this inner critique inside your mind, and then that voice will judge you. That voice will tell you that, okay, well, your lifestyle is not good. And that is what makes an unhealthy lifestyle this sufferable, this painful, right? And something exactly related to this happens when we talk about people who stutter. And so there has been a scientific study conducted on this. People who are perennial stutterers, the people who stutter in normal conversations as well, it's a habit. They were gathered in a lab setting, okay, and they were asked to read out something. Of course, when they are reading out, they will stutter, right? Now here's the interesting bit. In the second half, the same perennial stutterers were given a headphone. They were fitted with a headphone with loud music or something on it, so that they would not be able to hear their own voice. Guess what happened? Their stuttering dropped to significant lows. Now they could read much more smoothly, now that they could not hear their own voice. You see what's happening there? When a person stutters, our ears catch it, right? The ear of the person who's stuttering catches it, and then the inner critic inside the mind goes, okay, no, the people are going to judge you for it. Okay, no, the people are going to hate you for it. Okay, no, your message is not clear. Why are you stuttering? And then this voice, this inner critique gets louder and louder and louder. The more louder it gets, the worse your stuttering gets, because you get nervous. And then this continues as a self-perpetuating cycle. So your voice gets louder, you stutter more, and then your voice gets even more louder because you stutter more. And then that leads you to stutter even more. This is a very painful cycle to be in. And the stuttering could be used as a proxy to anything that you are deficient in. It could be your problems with public speaking. It could be your bad lifestyle. It could be your bad physique. It could be absolutely anything that you need to improve on. Your inner mind will act like that best friend, or that, the critique who will tell you what's wrong, who will tell you the bad things about it. And sometimes this inner critique can blind your judgment as well. So in the case of stuttering, it does not help you. It just tells you that you need to stop stuttering. It does not tell you how. Telling you how to stop doing something is not the job of a criticizer. A criticizer is just there, be it internal, be it external. A criticizer is just there to tell you that there's something wrong and you need to fix it, figure it out yourself. And so it's not helpful always. And so there's 2 things that you can do to counter this: strategic indifference and practice. I'll break them down one by one. A lot of this self-criticism comes from what we think other people think of us. Make sense? And so basically, when the person stutters, what that stuttering person thinks is that the person in front of me could think that I'm an idiot. And then this thought fuels the inner critique inside your mind. The inner critique has just gotten a new topic to criticize you on. So you are an idiot. And this causes self-esteem issues downstream, so on and so forth. What we need to do is use strategic indifference to counter the situation, and I'm going to explain to you exactly how to do that. So a lot of these thoughts, a lot of these criticisms need to be ignored. They're not helpful. So in the case of the stuttering person, the thoughts are not helpful, right? And so they need to ignore that. They need to be indifferent towards that thought, towards that exact inner critique. So usually when it comes to things like, okay, well, your chin is protruding, oh well, you stutter too much, oh well, your voice sounds too girly, oh well, you don't have a leg, what the heck? And the thing is, these kinds of criticisms are always inside your mind, and you always know that you lack these things and these criticisms are true, but you need to ignore them, because unless the stuttering person ignores that thought, they will never be able to get out of stuttering. If someone judges me, criticizes me, or my own mind tells me that your protruding chin does not allow you to be on the camera because you look ugly, I need to ignore that thought, because unless I ignore that thought, unless that thought has no power on me anymore, I will not be able to actually make progress on this YouTube channel, on my social skills, on anything really. And so here's the key to understand which thoughts to ignore and which to look at with more detail, because some of them can be treasure maps, right? I'll explain later. The thoughts which are about the things that that you cannot change. So I can't change the protruding chin. A person who's stuttering can't just switch off stuttering. It's not a mode, it's not a machine. And so when the criticism is about something that you cannot change, something that you cannot touch, in that case you need to ignore it, be indifferent towards it completely. But sometimes some of these thoughts are actually changeable. Okay, so if someone tells me that your speech could be better, you're repeating too much of the same things, and so your speech is boring, you need to get better. That's great advice, because I can develop my speech skill. If someone tells me your camera angle is wrong, great, because that's something that I can change. And not just someone, the inner critique as well. The video is about inner critiques. My brain always screams at me that the framing is not right, maybe the lights are not right, maybe your speech is not right. The biggest critique that I have is inside my own head, and I love it because look, I have practiced strategic indifference. You can't ignore all of these criticisms, because some of these criticisms are treasure maps for improvement. Some of these criticisms genuinely are gonna help you improve, to look at faults and fix them. You can't just ignore all of them, right? And among them as well, like, you need to judge which are helpful and which are not. And so if some person says that, okay, well, I don't like the way you speak, that is not helpful. That does not give you a clear directive of what to do to improve your speech. That does not tell you, right? If someone tells me today that I don't like how the framing looks, the criticism could be good. Like, thank you, now I know that the framing is not right, but what do I need to change about it? It's a helpful thing that gets me started on research. But the more helpful criticism would be, change this exactly. Move your camera 2 degrees to the left. I don't know, right? I'm making this thing up. So you need to judge which thoughts, which of these criticisms are helpful and which are not. And then listen to only the helpful ones and completely be indifferent to the ones which are not helpful at all. This is strategic indifference. You are being indifferent to most of the thoughts which are not helpful, but you are being strategic about it because you're listening to the thoughts which act as treasure maps for improvement. And then there comes this big angle of ego, because if you are indifferent to all the criticisms from outside, from the inside, what's going to happen is you have a big ego, and so you're not going to be able to improve. You think that you are the best, and so you don't need to listen to these criticisms. And guess what? Like, you're not going to improve. You're going to stay stagnant, or you're going to fall off. And so, like, have this learning, this student mentality when dealing with this. Like, look at the thoughts which are helpful, listen to them. Don't look at the thoughts which are not helpful. It's simple, really. But again, even if you look at these thoughts which are like treasure maps, if you look at them and like, okay, well, I need to make that change. If you don't take action, what value is there in the thought, right? So this leads us to the next chapter, which is practice, the second thing. Now become Alex Hormozy here. Give it so many reps, practice so many times that it would be unlikely for you to fail in the end. I love that frame of, that comedian. I listened to this on a Modern Wisdom podcast. The comedian who is performing, who is, on a world tour and is, having to go on shows every week. At the end of the tour, the comedian is not cracking jokes. He's just performing. He has practiced the same punchlines, the same kind of jokes so many times. It's not even funny to him anymore, but it's funny to the audience. He's just a performer at this point because he has practiced so much. And so the next time that when you're trying to do something, so this actually happened to me so many amount of times. So I would make an art piece, okay? I would draw something, I would sketch something, and then I would want to show it to people. But then in my head, I was like, I don't want to show it to people. I don't think the art is good enough. And then I would listen to that thought and I'm like, okay, well, then that means I need to improve upon my art skills even more. Right. I understand. The next one, the art was better. And then I still felt this nervousness inside me that, okay, I don't want to show it to anyone. And then this inner critique, this act of me listening to this thought, telling me that the art is not good enough to show to people, has actually allowed me to draw better and better pieces. Now I take their pictures and proudly show them off to people. So whenever you feel nervousness, especially when it comes to you displaying your art form to anyone else, just know that you haven't practiced enough. Just know that your skill is not good enough. And I'm not trying to berate you. I'm not trying to tell you that you are useless. I'm just trying to tell you that you could be better. You need to practice even more, to the point that you're just bored of the thing. You will just get bored. With the volume of practice that you do, you will just get bored of the thing that you're practicing. And you need to practice till you're bored, till you're sick of it. When you're like whenever I'm writing these scripts, before recording, if I feel nervous, I know that the script isn't up to the mark. But when I write the script and then I make like 10, 15, 20 changes to it, what happens is that by the end of the process, I look at the script and I'm like, that's a masterpiece. I would love to record these. And so it's just trial and error. Just reiterate, practice, change things. And again, like a lot of people look at practice and go like, okay, so you want me to do the same thing again and again and again. That's not the point. The point is doing the same thing again and again and again and expecting a different result is insanity. I think that Einstein said this. And it's so true. Practice is not doing the same thing. Practice is doing the thing once and then looking at the results of it, getting feedback, asking your inner critique that like, what's your take on this? Listening to your inner criticisms, listening to the things that could be improved, listening to the helpful thoughts and then working on them again. That is practice. This working on that thing is practice. This is practice. Like reiterating for the better is practice. And unless you try the thing like 5-6 different times, you won't know what to reiterate to. Unless I made like 10 videos, 15 videos, I wouldn't have known how to set the lighting. And the greatest example is my channel. Look, the first video of this channel and this video, night and day difference. This video is so much more better. But I'm using mostly the same sort of lights, same mic, same camera, everything same. What has changed? My skills. Now guess what? The first video was made with months worth of research. A lot of work went into that. Okay, around 1 year full worth of research into that one video about framing, lighting and everything. But guess what? In 3-4 months, I've made more progress on making my videos look better than 1 year worth of research and no practice. It's just sheer practice. Imagine how much better I could have been if I would have recorded every single day and made improvements every single day. I'm recording weekly, right? If I recorded every single day, my progress would have been so much faster, so much better. But just imagine how great this setup would have looked. And so look at your life, look at yourself, look at your craft, look at your work, look at your tasks, and then try and understand, okay, am I feeling dissatisfied somewhere? Is my inner critique actually correct somewhere? Ask yourself these questions and you will find the answers. Trust me, because these inner critiques, some of them are real treasure maps. Some of them will actually tell you how to practice. They're literally guidebooks to life. A lot of people have this, like, I used to have this complaint as a child that I've been given life, but there's no user manual. Just a childish thought. But then I never realized that this inner critique is the user manual. It tells you exactly what to do. And this is so valuable because usually in the starting days, no one's rooting for you, no one's looking at you, no one's helping you. Right now, I am sitting here. Some of my friends could be like, okay, we'll make that change, do this, do that. But none of this is very detailed, very involved effort because my friends are not recording with me every single day. And so in these starting days, when there's no one around you and you're recording alone, you're uploading the videos alone, the entire process, the editing, the recording, the scripting, everything is being done alone. Your inner critique is all you got. The inner critique will tell you what to get better, what to improve on, what to change, what to add on, what to remove. And I think this is like so valuable because you have no one, right? You have no other point of reference because no one's recording with you, no one's working with you. Only you know the true extent to which you have worked. Only you know the things that you've worked on. Only you know the limits. Only you know your results fully. And so only you can judge yourself. Only your inner critique can judge yourself accurately. And again, a lot of these thoughts are not going to be helpful. The thought that you are stuttering and making yourself look stupid in public, that thought doesn't help the stuttering person, right? But the accuracy is definitely there. And so again, strategic indifference. You need to look at the thoughts which are helpful, take them, not look at the thoughts which are not helpful and not take them. Simple enough.